It's the hero's turn to start meeting in the Absolute Universe, starting with Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Batman, beginning in Absolute Wonder Woman number 15, which was the December 2025 issue. And even though it involves blood magic and possession, it still has some chill holiday vibes. I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and it's time to discuss 2/3 of the Absolute Trinity meeting for the first time. Also, please do like and leave a comment, it really helps the channel out, and also lets me know which of these Absolute titles you're interested in. Now, the villains have already started to assemble in the Absolute Universe, notably in Absolute Evil, released in October of 2025. And because this is Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Batman, we fittingly have their two core villains, or the main ones, with Veronica Cale and the Joker, or Joseph Grimm / Jack Grimm. They're going to be discussing everything as events unfold. They're having a Villainous watch along. So because of that, you gotta look at more of their relationship as well. Now, this issue is very much a standalone, in the sense that you could only be reading one of these titles, both, or neither, and either way, it's gonna read very accessibly. You could just really pick this up and jump right in. It's got a self-contained vibe that's coming a bit more back into vogue time of recording, but even so, this is extremely self-contained. Like a one-shot you could just pull out of a run and read anytime. Again, you can do that with any that you like, but this is just an easy one to do it with. The story is the Mark of Hecate, and it's nicely labeled a duet with Absolute Batman 16. So named because they're not exactly like, you need to read this one to understand that one. They're complementing each other, because when that one comes out, it also will be self-contained. This issue is written by Kelly Thompson with art by Hayden Sherman and colors by Jordi Belair. We open on Veronica Cale's home, which is gorgeously built off the side of a cliff. In this world, the crime is paying so far. And she is bitterly lamenting to the Joker the rise of influence that the heroes are having in their universe, and that she warned everybody that was going to happen. She sees that reflected in the fact that they now have merch, like a special chess game, which has some nice undertones of the game being played out in the Absolute Universe overall through Darkseid, and also by the Absolute Justice League, the villains of this universe, against the heroes. So far, who are operating individually, but that's about to change. Also, there are plushes, and you know that's when things are getting serious. The panel of the Wonder Woman plush in the trash did make me laugh. I said they would inspire, didn't I? Grimm, you have no idea the pile of merch I'm looking at. It's like a cancer. You're right that they're big symbols, but big symbols are big targets. Did she take the bait? She did indeed. In Gotham, Wonder Woman gets Batman's attention with a giant magical bat symbol. And the way the panels are stacked to get you down to Batman's level while simultaneously looking over all the city, it's fun. And the way they're kind of ascending outward, they almost look like playing cards the way they're stacked. It's creative, it's a bit different, but it's easy to follow and it conveys what they want. Now, as the Absolute Universe is starting to branch out, it means we're also getting to see the characters from their various books drawn in different styles and written by other people. And so you're starting to get a sense of them overall and seeing whether they feel uniform across the universe, which is an interesting experience to see from this point because it's still building outward. And so for people who are new to comics or coming in at this point, that can also be fun to see, just the build. Absolute Batman, in my opinion, looks very cool in Sherman style. We've already seen a mainline Sherman Batman over in Dark Patterns, and that was cool too. That was just a solid series. Batman hanging like a literal bat is also a neat touch here. What stands out right away about the relationship between Batman and Wonder Woman is that it's very cordial, and it starts off very well. They hit it off pretty quickly. It feels well-worn and familiar from the start. They're different, but it's very friendly, and they're trying to figure each other out. It doesn't feel hostile. I'm Diana.
Batman, define magic.
Advanced chemistry with unconventional intentions and unusual resources? Yes, Batman's gonna very lightly play into the whole, I don't believe in magic, even as it's happening right in front of me. And even as I will later say this woman is a god, truly his core is unchanged. The two get to know each other a bit and find they align pretty well motivation-wise. And Diana is particularly impressed with the way that Batman has been able to overcome his fears out of necessity. He's resourceful, he'll do what it takes, just like she will. Now, Wonder Woman wants Batman's help investigating a series of murders. They seem tied to Hecate, and it's his city, plus she needs some detective help. Meaning this issue is an instance where we're gonna get to see Absolute Batman do some detective work. While not entirely absent from Absolute Batman's own books, that tends not to be the focus a lot of the time, as there's a lot more over-the-top action there in general. So even at times when he does need to figure something out, that can be overshadowed by the bombacity of other happenings. But here, because it's a bit calmer and quieter, we get to see him really think things through, which is nice, as it has been established from issue 1 of Absolute Batman that Bruce is highly intelligent. Now, Diana's very honest with Bruce when he questions her about being so public, and whether she's worried that's going to jeopardize the people she loves, which makes sense. Bane already literally crushed a bunch of Bruce's friends. But just like in the main verse, Diana isn't destined for the shadows, and she uses his question to kind of outline some of her core philosophy. No, I think not. Love is transformative, and I don't know how to show that to people without living it. This book also lightly pokes fun at the whole idea of Batman as a bat god, which he notes he is not. We did see the skeleton of a bat god-like thing over in Absolute Batman, and there was the whole Barbatos in the main line, but mostly when people think of bat god, they think about Batman's immunity and plot armor. So it's just kind of a little tongue-in-cheek moment. There's a lot of time taken with them just feeling each other out, and they fall into sync very quickly. She gives him a way to contact her, call back to the a.k.a. while she's at it, which some may be thinking of during this, since that Veronica Cale of the same name is a very well-known Batman and Diana story. And Rucka is a source of some inspo in this run, though not the dominant source. In general, if one is familiar with other team-ups of these characters, a comparing and contrasting can occur. Some may be thinking about the DCAU, where there were kind of romantic underpinnings. Few may be thinking of Brave and the Bold 87 when they teamed up when she was Mod Wonder Woman. Some may be thinking about For the Man Who Is Everything. It really depends where you're coming from and what you know of the relationship between the two. But if one is aware of some other things, it may be enhancing or maybe comparing. We're just doing a kind of casual thing. I'm filming this around the holidays, so we're not gonna get quite as deep. Please feel free to do that in the comments. Now the two head off to investigate and they have some more banter. The swamp teems with power. What is its name?
Slaughter Swamp.
Subtle.
We're not known for our subtlety in Gotham.
Oh, he's smiling. Look, they're smiling at each other. They do find the scene and some clues, but things are off. They're not what they seem. And we get to see a bit more of Cale and Joker after they investigate some more. Well, we don't get to see the Joker, but they're talking. And in contrast, the conversation and banter between Bruce and Diana, what we have here is more calculated and manipulative. The exchange is not outright hostile, but it's nowhere near as pleasant. The plan, however, is to play upon Diana's kind of sort of origin as a golem, at least how Cale defines it, because Absolute Wonder Woman will play with mythologies in that way. Because of this, she's trying to take control of Wonder Woman, then take her out and also Batman at the same time. Two birds, one stone, which means let them fight, sort of, kinda, not intensely. We do get some cool moments and just glimpses into Diana's compassion and foresight, like removing her magic arm before she's fully possessed. In a nice moment, Batman is able to defeat her with his wits and some things that were neatly foreshadowed earlier. He also gets to have a big hero moment by helping to save her. So they end up coming across as on very equal footing. Even though it's Diana's book, it's a good showcasing for Batman. They both make a good impression. We get some hints at some more danger to come from Cale and more connections to Diana than the latter may be aware of, and the Joker basically going, okay, my turn. His plan will of course be Batman focused. Meanwhile, Diana floats the idea that they should recruit Superman, or the Superman as Batman calls him. Now we just need someone to call Batman the Batman with a hyphen in it. Maybe they already have and I missed it. Put me to the panel of the Batman. We end on a gentle note of Diana being mesmerized by the snow, saying it's like magic, to which he comes, it's not magic, it's science. She comes from a world where it's one, no she doesn't, she comes from a world where it's magic. It's similar to the ice cream moment, it's just a nice human detail. They're not so far apart as we sometimes think. I think we're going to be great friends, Batman. I think one day you will even tell me your name.
I suspect you know it already.
I do, but it's not mine to take. It's yours to give.
Say it.
Say his name. She does, and that's just a nice detail of her respecting the boundaries. Bruce, don't you think we should make friends with the Superman too? I think we're going to need lots of friends if we're going to save this world. This is a very nice contrast to the meeting in Absolute Evil, where there's a moment where they flat out state that they're not friends. So we're setting up the different dynamics in terms of where the people are in the ethos of this world. It's one of those moments where you don't have to have read Absolute Evil to read this, but if you have, all of it is just building upon each other. The tapestry is expanding. That's one of the exciting things about the interconnected continuity, or just the fact that the world exists in the same space. Oh, so Batman says happy holidays, Diana. He's smiling. Many Batman smiles this issue. And then it promises Zatanna next issue. Now as for this one, it's very solid. It's just a nice, pleasant, self-contained read. Like I said at the start, you don't even need to be reading Absolute Wonder Woman, or you could have fallen off for a few issues, or you could have been keeping up. It's also because of its accessibility, a good kind of gauge as to whether you're going to enjoy this series and version of Diana. Now, this issue dedicates most of its time to the two getting to know each other and establishing their differences, but highlighting that they have more in common than not. It's not really action heavy, but it does have its moments, and there is a bit of a build, an atmospheric kind of tension as they're going through and trying to find clues to this very gruesome kind of murder. There's blood everywhere. This sets up a very friendly opening dynamic between the two. Diana in this series is happy to meet most people, so that tracks. This Batman may be more open than people are used to. However, it is absolute Batman, so differences are to be expected. The absolute version has more friends and is overall more open to working with others. Plus, he's taken by her, as many people in the world are because of her broadcast, and just in general, she draws people to her. That seems to just be part of her power and part of what's going to make her very useful when they ultimately do go up against Darkseid. She has this magnetic ability to rally people. Now, I can see some wishing there was more conflict or just more action in general, particularly if one came over from Absolute Batman, where that tends to be more of the focus. Not that that series doesn't have emotional moments, because it does, but it's just when the action moments there are big, they're very big. Even bigger than the giant monster that Wonder Woman sliced in half in the first arc. Now, some may also feel, aside from just general action and conflict, that they should have clashed a bit more out of the gate. If that was what one was hoping for, this may feel a tad easy, or just not as compelling. However, the ease of their meeting is part of the point, because it's being contrasted with Cale and Joker's interaction, and just also with their placement in the universe overall. The villains are organized in control, but the heroes are just rising up and finding each other, which lends itself well to being more open to doing things together, especially as they know what they're up against. Plus, it makes them feel a bit more in the heroic position seeing them get along right off the bat, pun fully intended. This versus the tension of Cale and Grimm, though personally I liked that it showed they were that close to stay on the call while this was going on. It's the holidays. Even villains need someone to hang out with, even if it's just to partially manipulate and kind of spy on them. No one should be alone at Christmas. One thing I could also see from this issue is potentially making people curious to check out Absolute Batman. He does come across quite well in this. It may ignite curiosity to just go and see what's going on over there, and also not in a FOMO kind of way. Not in a, if you don't go there, you're not going to get the complete story or anything like that. As stated in the title, it's a duet. There's no pressure. Diana's story is just going to keep on keeping on in the next issue. This was more an interlude, a team-up crossover interlude. It made things feel connected in a very open, accessible way that doesn't overwhelm for anybody coming in. And because it wasn't so focused on connecting the universe, it left a lot of space for the two to get to know each other. Although, of course, if you do head over to Absolute Batman, that is a different vibe. All the books have a different energy from each other. It's interesting. But this issue is a nice example of characters seamlessly fitting into another book. And maybe you want to see how the outing fares and how they feel over in Absolute Batman when that happens, time recording. I know that there are likely more references, more deep cuts. As mentioned, this is the holidays. We're keeping it a bit more loose, a bit more casual. If there's anything I didn't talk about that you noticed that you really desperately want to chat about, please put it down below. I love hanging out down there and reading your comments, replying when I can. I'd love to hear what you thought of this issue. Was it for you? Was it not? All of these, as always, are just my thoughts. Did this not work for you? And you're like, what are you talking about? They felt really uneven or bumpy. Whatever you think, let me know. Do you think it was too soon? Are you ready to see things get more integrated? Please share all your thoughts. And while you're down there, please do all the other YouTube things. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to spend discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it. I will see you again soon.